A former NASA employee claims that NASA has evidence and photographs of UFOs and non-human intelligence, which was then backed up by a hacker who hacked into NASA for 13 months, who backed up all the claims that were made. This is one hell of a rabbit hole that I have been down over the past couple of hours, and it came to my attention from this Reddit post, which went on to state, former NASA employee, we have a lot of high resolution photos of UFOs or alien spacecrafts that I can testify before Congress, Disclosure Project 2001. So, you know, this isn't brand spanking new information, but the rabbit hole that I went down, it was interesting. So, this lady is a lady called Donna Hair. And what she has to say about this entire situation is absolutely mind-boggling. So here is her initial testimony to begin with.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Donna Hair, and I worked at Philco Ford Aerospace from 1967 to 1981. During that time, I was a design illustrator, draftsman. I did the launch slides and landing slides, and also projection plotting boards, lunar maps for NASA. We were a contractor, but most of the time I worked on site, in Building 8. I had the opportunity to do extra work during downtime, which was between missions, and I walked into a photo lab, which was the NASA lab across the hallway. I had a secret clearance, which is not that high, but I was able to go into restricted areas, which this was. At the time, I was talking to one of the techs in there, and he drew my attention to a photograph, a NASA photograph. It had a dot on it, and I said, what is that? Well, he drew my attention to it, and I said, is that a dot on the emulsion? And he said, and he's smiling, and he has his hands crossed, and he said, round dots on the emulsion don't leave round shadows on the ground. And this was an aerial photograph of the Earth, I'm assuming the Earth because it had pine trees on it, and the shadows of the craft or whatever it was were in the same angle as the trees. And by its very nature, UFO, and I wanted to clarify that to a gentleman that was talking to me, means unidentified. So I did not know what this was. But I realized at this point that it's very secret, that it was kept secret, because I asked him, what are you going to do with this piece of information? And he said, we always airbrush these out before we sell them to the public. So they're pesky little creatures appearing on this photograph they wanted to get rid of. After that, I decided I would ask questions to other people that work there. And I found that I had to ask them away from the site and not on site. A guard told me that he was asked to burn some photographs and not to look at them.
Now, that is interesting. NASA have apparently claimed that they airbrush photos before they release them to the public or sell them to the public, and basically just the raw image without whatever it was that was on there. So I did a bit of research into Donna Hair, and I found that she has also gone on to make, after this, a couple of things on IMDb. She's got a couple of TV shows here. So Aliens on the Moon and The Greatest Story Ever Denied, to Moon Rising. So it's a couple of UFO-based moon shows, which, you know, they did all right. They didn't break the internet or anything, you know, but they got some good ratings. But I saw that there was nothing really more to this. Like, you know, there wasn't really much more from Donna Hair. It was hard to find any more evidence of what she was claiming. So I thought this was a null and void case closed, job done. And I thought, well, I'll move on, find something else to talk about. But I then stumbled across an article about how a Brit hacked into NASA for proof of UFOs and found cigar-shaped alien craft photos. Take a little listen to this. So, when the British hacker Gary McKinnon gained access to NASA files, he did not expect to find evidence of alien life, but he claimed to have seen thousands of images stored on the space agency system, including one cigar-shaped alien spacecraft. The 56-year-old computer whiz says that he found some photos between February 2001 and March 2002, when he broke into 97 US government computers. The hacker believes that NASA is covering up alien life and was shocked by the amount of pictures being hidden away. The lengthy legal battle began once Gary's findings were shared, and the Brit was even threatened with extradition and prosecution. Speaking to The Sun about his findings, Gary explained the initial shock and disbelief at uncovering what he believes is proof of aliens visiting Earth. He said, quote, "It's a fact that there are objects that we don't understand flying around our skies. It's also a fact that there are scientific, intelligence and military departments that study these objects. I was absolutely gobsmacked by those folders and thousands of more images." And then, long story short, he was arrested in 2002 and also in 2005 at the request of the US, and authorities said the cost of fixing the problems he caused amounted to more than $700,000. It was agreed in 2006 that Gary would be extradited from the UK, but this led to years of appeals and a campaign to prevent it. In October of 2012, former Home Secretary Theresa May blocked the extradition on account of Gary's Asperger's syndrome. Current Labour leader Keir Starmer was Director of Public Prosecutions at the time, and 2 months later announced that Gary would not face prosecution in the UK. But why was Gary looking at NASA files in the first place? Former NASA employee Donna Hair claimed satellite images were often scrubbed of evidence on the Johnson Space Center. Gary had heard about the claim and was looking to verify Donna's account. When he accessed NASA files, Gary claims that he saw 4 folders named filtered, unfiltered, processed, and raw. However, his 58,000 dial-up internet connection slowed him down, and he managed to get just one picture from the folder before he lost access: an image of a cigar-shaped spacecraft. The issue of aliens visiting Earth made headlines in America last week in congressional hearings being held about UFOs. But the first meeting of this kind in more than 50 years revealed that reports of unidentified aerial phenomena have doubled in the last year. So, long story short, Gary heard about this from Donna Hair and was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to take it upon myself to go and verify these claims. So he decided that he was just going to go and hack NASA, because why the fuck not, I suppose. But, you know, this guy's got his own Wikipedia page and everything. It's all kicked off. So, Gary McKinnon was born in 1966, is a Scottish systems administrator and hacker who was accused in 2002 of perpetrating the biggest military computer hack of all time. Although McKinnon himself states that he was merely looking for evidence of free energy suspension and the cover-up of UFOs activity and the technologies potentially used to the public. On 16th of October 2012, a series of legal proceedings in Britain, and Home Secretary Theresa May blocked extradition to the US. Now, obviously the reason that he got let off was because of his Asperger's syndrome, and also because it wasn't prosecuted in the UK because it wasn't a UK computer that was used to hack the systems. But McKinnon went on to talk to Wired News, who basically got a lot of information, and I'm going to, quote him here with the conversation that they had, because it's really insightful as to what he actually found. So, McKinnon went on after this. This is like a few ways through the conversation. The whole thing's not relevant, but I know that the government suppressed anti-gravity UFO-related technologies, free energy, or what they call zero-point energy. This should not be kept hidden from the public when pensioners can't pay their fuel bills. I mean, fair enough. He's like a bit of a Robin Hood figure. So, Wired News. Did you find anything in your search for evidence of UFOs? McKinnon certainly did. There is a Disclosure Project. This is a book with 400 testimonials from everyone from air traffic controllers to those responsible for launching nuclear missiles. Very credible witnesses. They talk about reverse engineered technology taken from a captured or destroyed alien craft. Like the Roswell incident of 1947, I assume that was the first, and assume that there have been others. These relied upon people have given solid evidence. What sort of evidence? A NASA photographic expert said that there was a Building 8 at Johnson Space Center where they regularly airbrushed out images of UFOs from the high-resolution satellite imaging. I logged onto NASA and was able to access this department. They had huge high-resolution images stored in their pictures files. They had filtered and unfiltered, or processed and unprocessed files. So that was the 4 files that we were talking about earlier. My dial-up 58K connection was very slow trying to download one of these picture files. As this was happening, I had remote control of their desktop, and by adjusting it to a 4-bit color and slow resolution, I was able to briefly see one of the pictures. It was a very silvery, cigar-shaped object with geodesic spheres on either side. There were no visible seams or riveting. There was no reference to any size of the object, and the picture was taken presumably by a satellite looking down upon it. The object didn't look man-made or anything like what we have created. Because it was using a Java application, I could only get a screenshot of the picture. It did not go into my temporary internet files. At my crowning moment, someone at NASA discovered what I was doing, and I was disconnected. I also got into an Excel spreadsheet. One was titled Non-Terrestrial Officers. This is where it gets really interesting. It contained names of ranks of US Air Force personnel who are not registered anywhere else. It also contained information about a ship-to-ship transfer, but I've never seen the names of the ships noted anywhere else. And then Wired News went on to ask, could this have been some sort of military strategy game or outline of hypothetical situations? The military want to give military dominance of space. What I found could be a game. It's hard to know for certain. Some would say that you've given UFO motivation for your hacking as a distraction for some more nefarious activities. I was looking before and after 9/11. If I had wanted to distract anyone, I would have not chosen ufology, as this opens me up to ridicule, which it absolutely does. So then the conversation kind of moves on to the trials and the legal side of things. But I found this really interesting. I was absolutely gobsmacked that, first of all, I'd never heard about this ever, and secondly, someone literally hacked NASA and found these files, apparently. And then after long legal battles, which literally spanned over a decade, he was finally let off the hook. But what do you guys make of it? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Have you already heard about this? I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether this, any more information's come of this. I tried to find as much as I could. Couldn't find anything else. But yeah, like I say, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. While you're down there, be sure to jump to get the hell out of that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Tick my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload to the channel. And until next time, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed. I cannot wait to see you next time. And until next time, speak to you later. Peace.